Hi, my name is Fiona Shanks, HR Business Partner at Solve HR. You may have heard the term employment status in the news at the end of October 2016 in relation to Uber drivers. This has prompted many business owners to think about the status of the people they engage. To help, I've created a short video in which I answer questions that you may be thinking about owing to the recent media coverage. The short video will hopefully assist you in getting your head around this tricky subject, or at least it will give you an appetite to find out more. When you've watched the video, should you require any further advice and guidance, please do not hesitate to contact me. Employment status looks at the nature of the relationship between an employer and the people that work for that company or provide services to that company. It also looks at how bound and obliged the two parties are to each other and defines the employment status accordingly. The key categories are self-employed, workers and employees. The worker category splits down into worker and employee. All employees will be workers, but not all workers are employees. The Uber drivers were found to be workers and not self-employed. Employment status is important because it determines employment rights, self-employed people having the least rights and employees most rights. Independent contractors, the truly self-employed, have very few rights in relation to their work. For example, they've no entitlement to be paid minimum wage, holiday pay or sick pay. Workers have various employment rights such as the right to minimum wage, paid holiday, appropriate daily rest breaks. Employees have all the employment rights that workers have, but have some additional protections, including subject to their length of service, the right to bring an unfair dismissal claim, request flexible working, statutory maternity pay, redundancy pay and to a minimum notice period. The HMRC website has an employment status indicator that you can use to look at how the Inland Revenue view employment status with respect to the paying of taxes. That might sound okay and work out okay at the start of the relationship. However, if the person is truly a worker or truly an employee, attaching the label of self-employed to them doesn't make them self-employed. Furthermore, it is always a good idea to look at a relationship not when things are going well, but when things are not going so well. For instance, when you want to part company with the person, if they are not self-employed, then that may not be as easy as it would be if they were truly self-employed. When determining employment status, a court will look at the reality of the situation and will look at what happens in practice. A court will look at the detail of the relationship with a fine-tooth comb. There are many different tests, but a few key areas to look at are: one of the most important things to consider is mutuality of obligation. Does mutuality of obligation exist between the company and the person? If there is mutuality of obligation, then that points towards the person being an employee. If there is a lack of mutuality of obligation, then that points towards the employment relationship being looser and therefore the person could very well be a worker or self-employed. Worth looking at control also. How much control do you have over the person? In the Uber case, the court looked at the amount of control the employer had over the drivers and substance of the relationship between employer and driver, not the language of the documentation issued. Just because you call someone self-employed does not make them so. The Uber case isn't new law, it was a case of applying old law to a set of modern circumstances. That is a very good question. It's worth being aware that some employment relationships develop over time and can change into something different. For instance, someone may start off as a casual worker, but over time there becomes a mutuality of obligation that makes them move from being a casual worker to actually being an employee. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video on employment status. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you need any further advice and guidance on this topic, please don't hesitate to contact me.